Welcome to our module on marketing.
This module was authored by Gigi DiGiacomo, Christine Moncada, Constance Carlson, and Craig Schaefer from the University of Minnesota in 2017 and updated in 2026. Narrated by Constance Carlson, with additional narration generated using the AI voice of Hannah from ElevenLabs.
Marketing, simply, refers to the sale and movement of a product from seller to buyer. In agriculture, commodity marketing typically refers to the cash sale and delivery of bulk grains and oilseeds from the farmer to his or her local elevator, or what we call the first point of sale.
Here we show two photos, one of corn grain in carts in a cornfield that has been harvested, and another of a grain elevator to where the corn grain will eventually travel.
A ready market exists for conventional corn and soybeans. Anyone can sell into these markets at any time. Organic markets, however, are specialized and present unique marketing challenges. We'll discuss these first, then describe what's needed to market organic grains and oilseeds.
This includes marketing documentation, plans, and tools.
Organic grains and oilseeds, while still sold in bulk like conventional crops, are referred to as identity-preserved products. An IP product is differentiated from other bulk commodities by special attributes. In this case, organic crops are special or differentiated from conventional crops because they are grown with organic methods and have been certified as such by the USDA. Farmers who sell IP crops usually receive a price premium above the price paid for conventional crops. Transitioning farmers in Minnesota who were surveyed for the Tools for Transition project cited price premiums as one of their top motivations for going organic. The majority of farmers who participated in a national survey in 2005 said that organic farming was more profitable than conventional farming.
In this survey of 320 farmers, 82.5% reported that organic farming is more profitable than conventional farming. The source is Hanawa Peterson et al., 2012, The Motivation for Organic Grain Farming in the United States, Profits, Lifestyle, or the Environment in the Journal of Agricultural and Applied Economics.
Let's take a look at organic price premiums for a couple of crops and discuss what this means in terms of profitability. We'll begin with organic corn.
This table shows the price in dollars per bushel of organic and conventional corn in the years from 2011 to 2016. Conventional corn ranged from about $4 to over $5 per bushel, while organic corn ranged from about $9 to $14 per bushel. The source is the Center for Farm Financial Management.
During the past 6 marketing years, buyers have paid 2 to 3 times the conventional market price for certified organic corn. The price spread between conventional and organic corn prices ranged from $4.82 per bushel to $7.41 per bushel between 2011 and 2016. The same goes for organic soybeans, where feed buyers paid approximately twice the conventional average price for organic soybeans.
This table shows the price in dollars per bushel of organic and conventional soybean in the years from 2011 to 2016. Conventional soybean ranged from under $10 to over $14 per bushel, while organic corn ranges from over $19 to under $27 per bushel. The source is the Center for Farm Financial Management.
The price spread between conventional and organic soybeans was approximately $10 to $14.50 per bushel between 2011 and 2016. Next, let's look at how much impact organic premiums can have on a farmer's bottom line financially. The example shown uses data from conventional and organic farms and represents average returns from corn enterprises during the 2011 to 2016 period.
The source for this data is the Center for Farm Financial Management.
The first thing you'll notice is that conventional farms average a much higher yield, 165 bushels per acre compared to 107 bushels per acre for organic farms, and that the conventional farms are, on average, much larger than the organic farms, with 395 acres per farm versus 80 acres per farm. In the next row, you'll see that the average price received by organic farms, $10.94 per bushel, is more than twice the price received by conventional growers at $4.51 per bushel. Thanks to the organic price premium, organic farms averaged a gross return per acre of $1,171.
Conventional farms averaged a gross return of $744. Direct and overhead expenses per acre for conventional was $670 and $630 for organic. The net return per acre for conventional was $74 and $532 for organic. The net return for a corn enterprise for conventional was $29,262 and $42,553 for organic.
Gross return in this example is equal to price times yield. After subtracting expenses, organic corn farms earned approximately 45% more than conventional farms on less than 1/4 the acreage. With price premiums on offer and the potential for improved profits, why aren't more farmers going organic? Researchers and farmers cite a slew of production-related challenges that may be familiar to you, such as weed and pest management. However, there are also some genuine differences between conventional and organic markets that many farmers find intimidating or frustrating. Let's take a look at how organic markets differ from conventional markets, and why marketing organic grains and oilseeds can prevent some farmers from jumping into organics. Organic markets differ from conventional markets in a number of ways. Most of these differences boil down to lack of market liquidity, limited marketing infrastructure, and scarce marketing tools. For anyone who is used to marketing conventional grain, these differences may come as a surprise. When it comes to organics, standard sales and procurement practices do not apply. Despite steady growth in organic markets, the overall size of the organic grain market remains small, or what traders call thin. In other words, the overall market is small, fragmented, and still evolving with few sellers and few buyers, which translates into low trading volume and limited liquidity. This is regularly reflected in USDA price reports, where there is often too little activity to establish reliable prices on a bi-weekly basis.
For example, the USDA National Agriculture Statistics Services reported that U.S. corn production was about 14.9 billion bushels, but organic corn production was less than 1% of this total production.
Lack of liquidity or small trade volumes have led to lots of volatility in the organic market. Next, let's take a look at how lack of liquidity can affect organic infrastructure on the ground. Lack of marketing infrastructure within the supply chain and among end users, such as handling facilities, processors, and grain elevators, is also a limiting factor for farmers looking to market organic grain. According to Mercaris Corporation, an organic trading platform and research company, there are approximately 340 organic grain and oilseed handlers and processors in the United States, as shown on this map. By comparison, the USDA reported in 2007 that there were 30,000 food and beverage processing plants in all. This does not include handlers who are responsible for distribution to processing plants. This means that organic handlers and processors represent, at a maximum, 1% of all food and drink handlers and processors. Given the limited handling and processing capacity, it's not surprising that there are fewer country elevators handling organic and other IP crops. This is important because, with fewer elevators specializing in organic commodities, farmers have fewer marketing options and must invest in their own on-farm storage and travel longer distances to get their product to market. Due to the small size and limited trading volumes that characterize organic markets, there simply isn't enough information available to develop the marketing tools needed by today's organic farmers. Price, planting, and harvest data that drives conventional marketing decisions is either missing or very limited in the organic sector. Why is this a problem for farmers? Let's take a look. Conventional farmers rely on publicly reported price, planting, and harvest data to make marketing decisions, to plan ahead, to sign contracts, and to determine how much to plant the following year. Organic planting and harvest data is very limited. This data is available every couple of years through the various USDA surveys listed here.
The surveys are the Certified Organic Survey, conducted in 2021, the Organic Certifier Survey, conducted in 2016, and the Census of Agriculture, last conducted in 2022.
By comparison, planting and harvest data for conventional crops occurs every month. Moreover, organic data is reported after planting and harvest rather than in anticipation of these activities, as in the case for conventional production, making it impractical for farmers to make well-informed pricing and contracting decisions ahead of harvest. Similarly, futures prices for organic commodities don't exist, and cash prices are currently available for a handful of commodities every couple of weeks.
Additionally, access to information can be cost prohibitive or the information can be outdated.
Without timely price data, farmers lack the information needed to sign contracts with confidence and to develop projected income scenarios. Once you take the time to learn about and explore organic markets, you will find that the challenges can turn into opportunities.
As Brian Kirkhart, a farmer from Minnesota, puts it,
when we farm conventionally, our opportunities are the same as those for 99% of the other farmers. But we're in the 1% category when we grow organically, and that opens up a lot more opportunities. Do you want to be part of the 1%? We'll discuss how in the next section by looking at common organic marketing strategies. When you're ready to market organic grains and oilseeds, there are 3 general things to consider: timing of pricing, contracts, and buyers. Let's discuss timing and pricing first. As a grain farmer, organic or conventional, you'll need to decide when to market your grain. Will you arrange for sales and price your grain before or after harvest? This question of timing will depend on current market prices, anticipated market prices, on-farm storage capacity, and your own cash flow. In Minnesota, approximately 31% of organic and transitioning to organic farmers preferred to sell direct to buyers in what is called the cash or spot market at current prices, with delivery taking place almost immediately. Another 38% of these same farmers preferred to market their grain using forward contracts. In other words, they preferred to sign contracts pre-harvest. The remaining marketing channels included farmer-owned co-ops and brokers. When market conditions are right, you may decide to hold on to your grain in storage and/or to forward contract your grain in advance of harvest. Let's take a look at how forward contracting works when marketing organic grains. There are 3 types of forward contracts that organic farmers use: the forward cash contract, the forward short-term contract, and the forward long-term contract. Each contract varies in length. All forward contracts specify the quantity, price, and a future delivery date. It allows the farmer to secure a price for his or her crop that is to be grown, is growing in the field, is harvested, or is being held in storage for later delivery. The duration of the contract, usually 1 year or more, determines how long the farmer and buyer are committed to the contract. Longer-term contracts are more common in the organic market than in the conventional market due to high demand and product scarcity. In the organic market, it's quite common for buyers to offer longer-term contracts because of the tight supply situation. There is not enough organic grain being grown in the United States to keep up with U.S. demand. Longer-term forward contracts allow buyers to secure grain needs well in advance of delivery. Some contracts last 1 year. Others can be signed for 3 years or more, meaning that as a farmer you are committed to selling grain from each harvest for up to 3 years, depending on the contract terms. In addition to contract duration or length, most forward contracts address the following terms: prices paid or received and how those prices will be determined, delivery quantity and crop quality, delivery date, transportation, handling, and storage of the crop pre- and post-harvest, and clauses regarding termination of the contract and dispute resolution. Prices specified in forward contracts may use a base price plus premiums or minus discounts, a base price linked to changes in the cost of inputs, or market prices plus premiums or minus discounts. Premiums and discounts are incurred for crop quality, cleaning, transport, and other post-harvest services. Given the lack of price transparency in the market, you may be wondering how base prices and market prices are determined. That's a good question. For the base price, buyers adjust conventional prices using premiums to account for local supply-demand conditions, long-range usage, import volumes, and of course organic certification. Futures market prices are available for corn, soybeans, soybean oil, soybean meal, wheat, and oats. However, future prices are not available for small grains such as rye, barley, sorghum, or many other crops. This means you cannot use this pricing method for these crops. Farmers and some other buyers prefer to price organic grains using market prices that are based on trades which have already occurred, reflecting past or present supply-demand conditions.
For example, prices reflected in USDA reports and private reports from Argus Agri-Markets.
Using a market price approach currently has the same limitations as the base price method. Institutional price reports for organic grains and oilseeds offer only limited market price data for crops other than food-grade soybeans and feed-grade corn. In other words, using the market price method for organic small grains and legumes is not very reliable or applicable at this point in time. Most organic farmers use some combination of the base price and market price approach to begin negotiating prices with buyers. So where do organic farmers get market price information? The first comes from the USDA Agricultural Marketing Service, is national in scope and available at no cost.
It is called the National Organic Grain and Feedstuffs Biweekly Report. Argus Agri-Markets also provides weekly reports for a fee.
The quantity to be delivered and purchased is typically specified in an organic contract in one of two ways: as the quantity to be delivered by weight for a specific amount of grain, or by production level. A contract based on production levels will state something like Buyer will purchase 100% of the crop produced from 50 acres on seller's property listed as Northwest Plot. In other words, the buyer is committing to purchase the entire crop harvest from a specified number of acres at the specified price or price formula. This type of contract provides some degree of risk protection for farmers because, even if their harvest is poor, they do not have to worry about making up for the harvest shortfall, or in the case of a bumper crop, they don't have to find a buyer for the excess grain. Organic contracts, like conventional grain contracts, will include grain quality provisions, including a scale of premiums and discounts, related to weight, grade, and cleaning. However, the most important quality aspect identified in an organic contract is the organic provision itself. Most, if not all, organic grain and oilseed buyers will require documentation or proof of organic certification at the time a contract is signed. Proof of certification, called an Organic Transaction Certificate, can be obtained from your farm's certifier. As discussed earlier, there is limited off-farm storage available for non-GMO, transitional, organic, and other identity-preserved crops. If you plan to store harvested grain on-farm, you'll need dedicated numbered storage bins. Experienced organic farmers recommend investing in multiple small bins for each crop, rather than a single large bin. This will allow you to sort grain by grade and control moisture and humidity more effectively.
Shown on this slide is a close-up of a grain bin fan attached to a grain bin.
Multiple small bins are also useful if you plan to manage a split operation, meaning that you will grow organic grain and conventional or transitional grain simultaneously. For more information about organic contract provisions, we suggest visiting the Farmers Legal Action Group homepage to learn more about organic contracting. A comprehensive guide on contracting with sample contracts is available for download at no cost. Also, it's always a good idea to have an attorney review your contract to make sure all terms are favorable.
The website address is www.flaginc.org.
As you research contract options and timing, it's a good idea to visit with buyers and learn more about what's on offer. Traditional buyers of grains and oilseeds include grain companies and their elevators, feed mills, feed lots, processors of oilseeds and grain, and brokers. These buyers also source organic grain. In addition, farmer-owned cooperatives such as Organic Valley are big buyers of organic grain, as are marketing agencies, such as the Organic Farmers Agency for Relationship Marketing, also known as OFARM. One of the best ways to connect with organic buyers is by visiting trade shows in your state or region. Trade shows, usually held in conjunction with skill-building workshops and other conference events, are well attended by organic buyers who sometimes offer contracts for transitional and/or non-GMO grain in addition to forward contracts for organic grains and oilseeds. We've listed a few of the more well-known conferences in the Upper Midwest here and strongly suggest attending one or more shows as you explore transitional and organic markets.
These include the Iowa Organic Conference, the Organic Grain Conference and Trade Show in Illinois, the Minnesota Organic Conference, the Northern Plains Sustainable Ag Society Annual Conference in South Dakota, the Marbleseed, formerly MOSES, Organic Farming Conference in Wisconsin, and the Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association Conference.
You should also be aware that there are several types of documentation required to verify organic integrity and quality when selling to an exporter. Documentation will vary by country. For example, if your grains and oilseeds are destined for Japan and Taiwan, the buyer will ask you to provide a USDA export certificate. Similarly, when your grain is destined for Canada, the buyer will ask you to amend your organic certificate with an attestation, or organic equivalency statement. Your certifier will do this. Export documentation usually carries additional fees. It is up to you and the buyer to determine, as part of your contract, who will bear the cost of obtaining these documents. There is no rule of thumb when it comes to the transportation, storage, and handling terms of an organic grain contract. The farmer or the buyer may be responsible for arranging and paying for transportation. This will be agreed upon and specified in the contract. If you are responsible for the transport and handling of crops as they make their way to market, you will likely need to obtain a clean truck affidavit from the driver, proving that the truck was swept and cleaned before loaded with your organic crop.
You will need to document on-farm and off-farm storage as part of your audit trail.
Finally, you will be required to maintain an audit trail to verify that the grains you are marketing have been produced, harvested, and handled in accordance with NOP rules. An audit trail, as defined by NOP, is documentation that is sufficient to determine the source, transfer of ownership, and transportation of any agricultural product labeled as organic. In other words, an audit trail is a record-keeping system that is unique to your farm. An audit trail is not complicated and is dependent on the use of lot numbers. The lot number communicates the type of crop, the field in which it was grown, field management activities, harvest activities, handling and storage, and the year it was produced. The lot number will be used by you, your certifier, and buyers and end users to trace the product to its original source if necessary. This is especially important if contamination is discovered.
An example lot number is S1213 1925. The S indicates organic soybeans. 121319 indicates fields 1213 and 19. 25 indicates the year 2025.
Planning is critical when transitioning. Why? It can help address some of the challenges associated with selling in organic markets, prepare you to take advantage of organic marketing opportunities, clarify communication with family members, business partners, lenders, and certifiers, and most importantly, planning will reduce some of the uncertainty associated with transitioning. It will give you the confidence to move toward your goal of becoming an organic farmer. Marketing plans vary by content and organization depending on the complexity of your business, the products being sold, your target market, and your certification status. Begin your plan with a market overview summarizing current market conditions and future opportunities. Much of this information will come from discussions with buyers. Next, describe your strategies for marketing crops during transition and upon certification, followed by a careful outline of the crops and rotation that will allow you to take advantage of market opportunities. This can be followed by a description of potential buyers, prices offered, and any contracts that you have signed. Finally, your marketing plan should include storage, handling, and delivery content that addresses specialized tasks associated with identity-preserved crops, including any organic certificates and other documentation required by buyers. All marketing plans should conclude with a brief discussion of any risks associated with your plan, such as price volatility or crop contamination, and your ideas for managing or addressing risks should they arise. Marketing plans should ultimately allow you to communicate with lenders, business partners, and family members. So it's a very good idea to write it down. There are several tools available to help you with this process. Ag Plan, developed by the University of Minnesota's Center for Farm Financial Management, is one of these tools. It is a business planning software program that includes a marketing component. Ag Plan allows users to customize their plans. You can complete only the marketing section if desired and embed financial information from spreadsheet programs into the plan. AgPlan is available online at the Center's website, shown here. It is simple, easy to use, and free of charge.
The website address is agplan.umn.edu.
If you prefer to write things down the old-fashioned way, we suggest using the Organic Transition Planner. This workbook is designed to guide you through the development of a business and marketing plan for your transition to organic production. Each chapter includes text, examples from transitioning farmers, worksheets, and resources. Copies of real-life business plans created by farmers during their transition are also included. Electronic copies of the planner are available for free from the Minnesota Institute for Sustainable Agriculture, also known as MISA. Hard copies are available for purchase from USDA SARE at the website shown here.
The Z-link for the website address is z.umn.edu/AU2O.
Think about the difference between conventional, transitional, and organic markets. Will you use different marketing strategies to reach buyers and sell your grain? If so, how might a marketing plan help? Will you develop a two-pronged strategy, one for marketing transitional grains and one for marketing certified organic grains? Will you identify and create a plan specifically for rotation crops? Will you use a marketing plan to document market trends and to communicate goals with your family and other business partners? Or will you use a marketing plan to do all of the above? This is the end of the marketing module. Thanks for watching.
This project is supported by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, National Institute of Food and Agriculture, Organic Transitions Program under Award Number 2013-5, 1106-2-1005. This project is supported by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Agricultural Marketing Service, National Organic Program under the Transition to Organic Partnership Program, TOPP, in the Midwest region. Any opinions, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this publication are those of the authors and should not be construed to represent any official USDA or U.S. government determination or policy. The University of Minnesota shall provide equal access to and opportunity in its programs, facilities, and employment without regard to race, color, creed, religion, national origin, gender, age, marital status, familial status, disability, public assistance status, membership or activity in a local commission created for the purpose of dealing with discrimination, veteran status, sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender expression. For more information about this project, please see organicag.umn.edu, copyright 2026, Regents of the University of Minnesota. All rights reserved.